If you're 30, 40, 50 plus and tired of seeing success books aimed at teenagers, this video is for you. Think and Grow Rich was never meant just for kids. It is a weapon for late starters who are finally ready to get serious. The philosophy contained in these pages was organized from the experiences of men who began in poverty, with but little education, and without influence. I have found that a great many people succeed only after the age of 40 or even 50, having spent their younger years dissipating energy. Their achievement usually follows a period of struggle and mistakes, proving that the foundation of success is often built upon the lessons of past failure. If you are ready for the Andrew Carnegie secret, you already possess one half of it, the desire and the life experience necessary to use it. You have paid the price of knowledge through delay, and now we will show you how to organize your maturity and determination into unstoppable power. The wasted time of your 20s and 30s has actually forged the mental toughness necessary to apply these laws with the required intensity. The late starter has seen the price of negligence and is therefore inherently more motivated to make the correct, firm decisions. The price of past delay is transformed into the premium of immediate action, providing a psychological edge over the complacent young man. I know why you are here. You feel the crushing weight of lost time. You see others who started years ahead of you, and a deep, cold fear settles in your gut, whispering the most dangerous lie a human mind can conceive. It is too late. You look back at the wasted years, the toxic circles you never escaped, the low-wage routines you adopted out of fear, and you wonder if the window is truly closed. You are not alone in this feeling. Every great success story I have studied contains a chapter of profound regret and delay, a period where the individual was wandering before commanding their destiny. This common period of aimlessness must now be seen as essential research into failure, preparing you for the definite action required for fortune. This transition from drifting to directing is the core mental pivot required to command financial power. I am here to tell you, as a man who studied the greatest achievers in history, the Carnegies, the Fords, the Edisons, that your regret is not a prison, it is a fuel. The intensity of your desire now, at this stage of life, is far stronger than the vague hopes of a 20-year-old. You possess the advantage of knowing what wasted effort feels like. That acquired pain and regret is the very fire youth lacks, and it gives you the intensity necessary to forge a burning desire. This obsession is the first step toward riches. The advantage of maturity, commanding your purpose. Many men struggle for 20 or 30 years, not because they are weak, but because their effort lacks definiteness. They wish for money. They hope for success. They accept the meager compensation life offers them without protest. They drift, but wishing will not bring riches. And wishing is precisely what most young men do. They have no painful, concrete consequence to drive them. They believe they have endless years to correct their mistakes. They mistake ambition for desire, when ambition is often passive, and desire is always active and demanding. Ambition will accept compromise. Burning desire will accept nothing less than complete attainment of its object. A mere wish is powerless. It is a static mental state. Desire, when white-hot and definite, is a dynamic force that organizes itself into action. The man who has seen his life pass cannot afford the luxury of a gentle wish. But you, my friend, you know the calendar is real. You understand the cost of a delayed decision. This newfound awareness is your greatest asset. It allows you to transform a mere wish into a white-hot desire, a definite chief aim from which you will not be swerved. This is the point where the mental gears seize up and must be forced into motion by a non-negotiable goal. Your mind must be fixed upon the object of your desire with the tenacity of a bulldog, refusing to let go until mastery is achieved. This tenacity is the premium you pay for starting late. Think of the case of Edwin C. Barnes. He lacked money, he lacked education, and he lacked influence. His appearance was that of a tramp when he presented himself to Thomas A. Edison, demanding to be his business partner. The key word is demanding. He did not ask for a job. He did not ask for a handout. He simply said, in effect, I came here to go into business with you. Barnes's clothing spoke of poverty, but his mind spoke of partnership and riches. Edison later said that the fierce determination in Barnes's eyes was the only credential he required. He saw not a clerk, but a man driven by necessity. Edison, astute judge of character that he was, recognized the quality of Barnes's determination. He recognized the faith and desire that was evident in the very face of the man. Barnes refused to take no for an answer. He refused to be discouraged. He was willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat, which is essential to success. He knew exactly what he wanted, not an income, but a partnership, and that definite chief aim drove him to persistence for 5 years until his desire was transmuted into reality. Barnes knew that opportunity seldom speaks the language of a polite request. It responds to a definite command. This singleness of purpose, this definite aim, is the compass that guides the subconscious mind through all difficulty. Barnes succeeded only when he had transformed his emotional state into a fixed, unshakable belief. This is the law. Your mind cannot distinguish between a definite, emotionally charged belief and reality. Thought, backed by a burning desire, takes on magnetic properties and attracts its counterpart in physical form. The mind is the transmission station for thought, and desire is the force that transmits those thoughts to the universe. The moment Barnes made his definitive demand, his mental attitude began attracting the means to fulfill that demand. Your maturity gives you the strength to enforce this law. It is time to stop being polite with your destiny. It is time to turn your regret into a formal, written demand. You do not have time for vague goals. You must fix your desire in the form of a clear, numerical target backed by absolute faith. Without this emotional commitment, the desire remains merely an intellectual exercise, powerless to influence the subconscious mind. The written, definite desire is the fulcrum upon which your power of faith rests. I offer you the method developed through my study of more than 500 millionaires, the exact method they use to convert the intangible thought of desire into its physical counterpart, money. This is not guesswork. This is the scientific, proven method for transmuting desire into its financial equivalent. Fix the exact amount of money you desire. You must be definite. Do not say, I want plenty of money. Say, I will possess $500,000 by this definite date. Precision is the first principle of all mental chemistry. A vague target produces vague, scattered effort. The specific amount serves as a clear focusing point for the subconscious mind. The mind works best when given a specific target, not a general concept. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. You must commit to an equivalent service, be it a specific quality of time, a definite specialized knowledge, or an immediate action. This step transforms the desire from a wish into a transaction. The compensation you receive will always be in exact proportion to the service you render. This commits you to the law of equivalent exchange, eliminating the fantasy of unearned riches. You must clearly define your value before you can demand your compensation. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money. A goal without a deadline is merely a dream. A deadline activates the subconscious mind, forcing it to find methods. The imposition of a deadline introduces a necessary urgency and forces the mind to cease drifting. This step transforms the desire from philosophy into a matter of urgent business. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once to put this plan into immediate action, whether you feel ready or not. The paralysis of waiting is the enemy of all progress. Do not wait for favorable winds. Set your sail now. Perfection is the enemy of execution. Start with the best plan you possess and improve it in motion. The best plan is often the one you execute immediately, not the one perfected on paper. Write out a clear, concise statement of your purpose. This statement must include the exact amount of money you desire, the time limit for its acquisition, what you intend to give in return, and the plan through which you intend to acquire it. Read this statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. As you read, you must see and feel yourself already in possession of the money. Mix emotion and faith with the words. Emotion is the electric charge that quickens the thought into reality. This daily ritual is the systematic training of your subconscious forces toward the object of your desire. The act bridges the gap between the material world and the world of thought, programming your inner commander. This ritual is the constant feeding of your mind with the material necessary for wealth creation, overriding the toxic programming of the past. The last step is the most vital, for it is the direct line to the subconscious mind. You are instructing the master builder of your destiny. Do not merely read the words, impress them upon the core of your being. This is how you take the painful lessons of the first 40 years of life and turn them into an unstoppable, burning desire. This commitment to definite chief aim is what separates the man who simply works hard from the man who rises to command. You have the experience of failure. Now you must use it to demand success. The next step is to eliminate the costly habit of delay. The antidote to delay: decision and organized planning. Your age means you know the cost of procrastination better than anyone. You have witnessed the truth of this law. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. Where one is found, the other is sure to be close by. If you are 40, 50, or more, you have already paid the price of delay for too long. You do not have time left to afford it. You must adopt the habit of reaching decisions promptly and carrying them out relentlessly. The major difference between men who accumulate riches and those who live in poverty is their capacity for decision. The rich man reaches decisions promptly and changes them slowly, if at all. The poor man reaches decisions slowly, if ever, and changes them quickly and often. Quick decision is a hallmark of leadership, while hesitancy is the common sign of the follower. History proves that the leader of every great movement was a person of instantaneous, firm decision. The slow decider is always haunted by what might have been trading certainty for comfort. The ability to decide quickly is proof that one has definite goals and the courage to pursue them. The man who delayed until midlife must become a lightning rod for decision. Every hour of uncertainty now costs more than it did 20 years ago. The hours you waste today in indecision are costing you years of future command. You must cultivate a near instantaneous power of choice concerning your definite chief aim. Indecision is not merely pausing, it is actively moving backward, allowing competitors and time to steal your momentum. The habit of indecision is often formed by a fear of criticism, which you must now ruthlessly eliminate. You must understand that the ability to make and stand by a decision is the highest form of self-discipline. The man who allows public opinion or self-doubt to delay his definite purpose forfeits his right to leadership. Consider the case of Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez. He needed $1 million to build his college, Armour Institute of Technology. He had no money, no plan, and no obvious source. However, he reached the prompt and definite decision to get the money within a week. He spoke of his need publicly, not as a wish, but as a demand, based on his definite purpose. 36 hours after making this unwavering decision, he had the money. The decision itself, backed by the definiteness of his purpose, created the necessary channel for the money to flow. The intangible thought became a tangible reality only because decision was applied. He understood that a definite decision magnetizes the mind toward the necessary solutions and people. His decision served as the mental equivalent of the money he needed, and the money flowed to meet that equivalent. The definiteness of his aim gave him the courage to face ridicule and the certainty to move forward where others would have faltered. The promptness of his decision activated the law of attraction, bringing the necessary materials and means into his reality. Thought becomes powerful only when it is organized into a definite plan and backed by the force of a decision. You must learn to keep your own counsel regarding your plans, especially from gossiping neighbors or those who might offer unhelpful opinions. The man who allows others to sway his definite purpose with doubt or fear will never succeed. Your mission is sacred, and you must guard it from the skepticism of the multitude. Their doubt is merely a reflection of their own lack of definite chief aim, and you must not let it contaminate your certainty. The vast majority of failures are directly traceable to easily yielding to the negative opinions of others. The only opinions worth valuing are those from your mastermind group who share your definite purpose and understand the laws of success. This protection of your mental resources is vital, especially when your definite aim is still in its fragile embryonic stage. The sixth step toward riches is organized planning. You cannot merely decide. You must plan. Your specific action steps to master decision and planning are: reach decisions promptly and change them slowly. This does not mean you are stubborn. It means you have done your research before the decision, and once the decision is made, you move with absolute persistence. The speed of the decision reflects the certainty of the desire. Only experience and wisdom should be allowed to change a definite decision, never external pressure or passing doubt. Indecision, once habitual, becomes paralysis. Promptness, once habitual, becomes power. Reduce your practical plans to writing. Your desire is intangible. Your plan must give it concrete form. The written plan serves only as a starting map. Write out the steps needed to acquire your definite chief aim. The act of writing the plan clarifies thought and provides the necessary structure for the subconscious mind to follow. The plan must be fluid, capable of constant adjustment, but the goal must be fixed. When temporary defeat comes, accept it as a signal that the plan is unsound, not the goal. Darby's uncle quit digging 3 feet from gold because he mistook a faulty plan for failure of the goal. The true man of action immediately rebuilds those plans, learns the lesson, and sets sail once more. Defeat must always teach a lesson that improves the subsequent plan of action. The persistence of the American industrial giants was simply the continuous adjustment of faulty plans after numerous setbacks. Every failure is simply a delayed victory if the lesson is applied. When plans flash into your mind as inspiration, put them into action immediately. Do not wait to see if they are perfect. You must correct the plan in motion, for motion is the antidote to regret. If you delay, the inspiration will vanish. Inspiration is fragile. It must be met with immediate action to survive. All great ideas are born and die in an instant if they are not seized. The immediate response to inspiration is the critical difference between the dreamer and the doer. Inspiration is a transient visitor. Honor it with swift execution. Remember the core message you must internalize. You are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. The man who waits for perfection waits forever. The man who decides and acts creates perfection as he moves. The greatest obstacle to this action is the fear you carry in your own mind. We must now conquer that internal saboteur. The midlife mental pivot, autosuggestion, and fear mastery. If you are a late starter, you carry a specific type of baggage. You carry the belief that it is too late. This belief is not a fact. It is a ghost, an idea existing only because your brain has been magnetized by years of conditioning and negative thought. You must recognize this thought for what it is: the subtle fear of old age, one of the 6 basic fears that cripple most people in midlife. This fear, once rooted, destroys ambition and causes the individual to resign themselves to the status quo. This fear is deadly because it is based on the false premise that time is the enemy, when in truth, wasted effort is the enemy. The truth is that life begins mentally and spiritually only when a person masters his mind and directs his destiny with purpose. The fear of old age is merely a reflection of the fear of poverty, and both are eliminated by definite purpose and organized thought. We must use autosuggestion to force money consciousness and eliminate this crippling belief. Autosuggestion is the medium through which you consciously influence your subconscious mind. It is the direct line of communication you establish between your conscious thought and the subconscious mind, which is the seat of all power and action. The subconscious mind is fertile ground. It cannot differentiate between instructions based on truth and instructions based on suggestion and belief. It will blindly execute any order that is given with enough feeling and repetition. Autosuggestion is the voluntary presentation of positive thought concepts to the subconscious, overcoming years of negative programming. It is the deliberate replacement of poverty consciousness with wealth consciousness. Your mind has been programmed over 40 years by external forces, the news, toxic relationships, low expectations from a low-paying job, and the subtle, collective belief that life slows down after 40. Now, you must take back control of the controls. You are responsible for the thoughts you allow to enter your mental factory. If you do not filter them, you are inviting poverty. To invite wealth, you must impose a mental diet, starving the negative thoughts and feeding the positive. This strict control over your mental environment is more important than control over your physical environment. Your destiny is not controlled by luck, but by the habitual thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. The third step toward riches is auto-suggestion. It is the daily, repeated, emotionalized instruction you give to your subconscious mind. Consider the case of my son, Blair Hill. He was born without the faculty of hearing and without the ability to speak. Doctors gave him no hope of ever hearing or speaking. But my wife and I, using the law of autosuggestion, backed by unwavering desire and faith, repeatedly told him that he would hear and that he would speak. If autosuggestion can transform the body's natural limits, it can certainly transform a mental limit, like the fear of old age or the belief that you are too late. This demonstrates the mind's power to translate emotionalized thought into reality. You are facing a far less daunting task than my son did. You only need to transform a mental habit. The mind is the only true factory of fortune, and autosuggestion is the lever that controls its output. The principle of autosuggestion operates by turning the vibration of definite thought into the mental material from which success is built. The faith needed to achieve wealth is acquired by persistently affirming your definite purpose until it becomes a fixed, subconscious belief. This is the process of self-hypnosis, where the conscious mind impresses belief upon the vast dormant power of the subconscious. Your age means you have accumulated both wisdom and negative habits. The mental pivot requires two things: building positive programming and building immunity against the negative. This process of mental house cleaning is mandatory for all who seek financial freedom. Here are your specific action steps for the midlife. Mental pivot. Apply the self-confidence formula daily. This formula demands persistent, continuous action in the attainment of your definite chief aim. Furthermore, it demands that you eliminate hatred, envy, and jealousy from your thoughts, as negative emotions block the flow of faith and destroy the possibility of attracting a mastermind. Negative emotions are a magnet for negative results and must be actively expelled. The mind cannot simultaneously hold positive and negative emotions. You must crowd out the fear with faith. Envy and jealousy are forms of self-defeat as they focus your mental energy on another man's success rather than your own creation. The maintenance of a positive mental attitude is the true indicator of one's wealth consciousness. Concentrate your thoughts for 30 minutes daily on the task of thinking of the person you intend to become. Create a clear, detailed mental picture. See yourself already in possession of the wealth. Feel the confidence that comes with its attainment. This is not daydreaming. It is the deliberate exercise of imagination backed by autosuggestion. This focused thought is the only way to impose new instructions upon the subconscious. This mental rehearsal is the deliberate construction of your future self. The imagination is the lens through which the mind receives inspiration and converts desire into reality. Visualize not merely the money, but the person you must become to command that money. Use willpower constantly to build a wall of immunity against negative influences. These influences, whether they come from skeptical family, fearful friends, or internal self-doubt, must be met with unwavering self-control. Your mind must become a fortress against negativity. Self-control means refusing to be influenced until you have thoroughly examined the opinion for its source and motive. The late starter must be especially vigilant, as the world will always attempt to drag the man of action back to the level of the mediocre many. The man who cannot control his thoughts cannot control his wealth. Budget your time, expenses, and income, and adopt the habit of systematic saving. Money in the bank, no matter how modest the amount at first, provides a safe foundation of courage against the fear of poverty. By saving and budgeting, you are giving your subconscious mind a tangible, undeniable proof of your impending wealth consciousness. A small financial reserve is more powerful than 1,000 vague hopes. Financial planning is mental planning, as it removes the chief incentive for fear and indecision. Money itself is merely coined energy, and accumulating it systematically reinforces the belief in one's power to command wealth. The habit of saving small amounts systematically builds the confidence to manage large amounts effectively. You cannot afford to wait another day to start this programming. If you have benefited from this discussion so far, and if you are ready to take control of your destiny, right now, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. This is not merely a request for support. It is an act of decision and definite action that aligns you with the energy of progress. It is a commitment that tells your subconscious mind, I am serious about wealth and self-mastery. Now let us turn the years you thought you wasted into your greatest power. Experience is leverage, persistence and knowledge. You may look at your age and see only years of lost wages and missed opportunities. I look at your age and see a library of incomparable value, failure. You are not losing years. You are losing time only if you quit. Your advantage is that your failures are assets of incomparable value because they teach you what not to do, which is often the only path to discovering the true plan. We will transform that experience into unbreakable persistence and leverage, specialized knowledge. Failure is a tuition fee paid for wisdom that cannot be acquired in any school. The man who learns the lesson of failure profits from it. The man who does not quits. All men who achieve great wealth suffer setbacks, but the master of persistence uses these setbacks as fuel for a greater counterattack. The true measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands in moments of controversy and failure. Persistence is the 8th step toward riches, and it is the single most common trait I observed among all successful people. The man who feels behind in life must adopt a persistence that is twice as intense as the man who started young. For the man who is 40 has fewer remaining chances to drill again than the man of 20. You must use this knowledge now. The difference between winning and losing is often measured in one last sustained effort that the quitter refused to make. It is the persistence of effort that converts desire into its financial equivalent. Persistence is to the mind what carbon is to steel, the essential hardening agent. The wealth you seek has a price, and that price is the persistent application of definite action. You must remember the story of W.C. Fields and Marie Dressler. They staged astounding triumphs late in life, around the age of 60, after losing their money and facing total professional ruin. They have reached an age when most people believe they are finished. But because they possessed a definite chief aim and, more importantly, persistence and the courage born of self-knowledge, they secured a favorable break and rose to the top of their fields. Their experience was their greatest asset. Their late life triumph proves that the true tragedy is not temporary defeat, but the failure to persist past that defeat. They understood that a temporary setback is simply a bend in the road, not the end of the journey. Their belief in their own value was stronger than the world's opinion of their age. Their courage, forged in the crucible of poverty and age, was their ultimate asset. Your past failures are simply the universe telling you there is something wrong with your plan, not your goal. The man who is successful makes a habit of profiting by failure. The man who started late cannot rely on the general knowledge gained in school. He must immediately seek out and acquire the specialized knowledge needed for his definite chief aim. Specialized knowledge is the 4th step toward riches. It is the practical information that allows you to render a specific service or produce a specific value. General knowledge, while important, provides no specialized leverage in the marketplace of money. Specialized knowledge, when intelligently organized and directed, is the true pathway to fortune. The highest paying compensation always goes to the man who can deliver specialized service or command specialized knowledge. Your years of struggle have given you a rich background upon which specialized knowledge can now be instantly and effectively grafted. The great secret here is that it is not necessary to carry this knowledge in your own head. You only need to know where to find it and how to organize it for a definite plan. This is where your maturity shines. You know how to learn efficiently, and you know the cost of intellectual laziness. The great money makers are organizers and users of knowledge, not necessarily possessors of all knowledge. Your goal is not to be a professor of every subject, but a master orchestrator of specialized expertise. Your role is to coordinate and direct, not to execute every detail yourself. The moment you realize you can leverage the knowledge of others, your financial trajectory changes completely. Your specific action steps to transform experience into leverage are: adopt the motto, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. Develop persistence through the 4 necessary steps: a definite purpose backed by a burning desire, a definite plan expressed in continuous action, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, a friendly alliance with a master mind group. Persistence is not simply hard work. It is unwavering will guided by a map. Is your plan continuous, or is your effort scattered? Continuous effort, regardless of size, accelerates the process. Stop relying on general knowledge. Continuously pursue the specialized knowledge required for your definite chief aim. This means constant study, enrollment in specialized courses, and networking with experts. You must become an expert in your niche, making yourself invaluable. Dedication to continuous learning is the minimum price of success in any specialized field. This commitment to continuous self-improvement overcomes the deficit of earlier years. If you cannot afford formal education, you must devise a way to acquire the knowledge through intense, focused self-study and association. Market your services effectively and permanently by adopting the QQS formula as a habit. Quality. Do everything you do with the highest possible degree of efficiency. Quantity. Produce the maximum amount of service possible, using your time wisely. Spirit. Conduct yourself with an harmonious and willing attitude only toward those who support your definite chief aim, ensuring your energy is never wasted on conflict. This selective cooperation shields your focus. Recognize that every defeat is merely a warning that there is something wrong with your plan, not your goal. Do not mourn defeat, dissect it. Learn the lesson and immediately formulate a new plan for attack. The man who learns from defeat cannot be beaten. The only true failure is quitting. Temporary defeat carries with it the seed of an equivalent success. The persistence of the great achievers is based on the faith that failure is an educational tool. The time you thought you lost becomes the raw experience needed for immediate wealth creation when viewed through the lens of persistence. You have lived long enough to know the value of time, and you have failed enough to know the value of truth. Use that painful wisdom. It is your ultimate leverage. The years you thought you wasted are, in fact, the greatest asset you possess, provided you now apply them with unwavering persistence. But you must multiply your power, or your effort will still be too slow. We must now recruit the brain power of others to accelerate your timeline. The power of coordination, mastermind, and cooperation. If you are 40 or 50, you cannot afford to wait to acquire all the knowledge and influence you need. Time is a finite resource, and you must multiply your capacity now. Power is organized and intelligently directed knowledge. The mastermind principle allows you to multiply your time and capacity instantly by leveraging the brains and specialized knowledge of others. The mastermind is the 9th step toward riches, and it is the single most important factor in the success of the most financially independent people I have ever studied. The organized effort of a mastermind group is the highest and most efficient source of power known to man. Without the mastermind principle, no great or enduring fortune has ever been accumulated. Your environment and your circle of influence are more important now than ever before. If you are struggling at this stage of life, I can almost guarantee you are surrounded by negative influences, people who, consciously or unconsciously, tell you that your goals are foolish or impossible. A negative association is a cancer on the definite chief aim. You must choose your inner circle with the same ruthless precision that a general chooses his most trusted officers. Your mind absorbs the thoughts and beliefs of those you associate with most closely. You must protect it from contagion. The man who attempts to rise alone is foolish. He trades the coordinated power of many for the limited power of one. You must look at the example of Andrew Carnegie. He was not a technical genius, yet he became the wealthiest man of his time. He made himself rich by organizing and directing a mastermind group of approximately 50 men who supplied the specialized knowledge he lacked. Carnegie's genius was not in steel production. It was in the organization of brain power. He leveraged the knowledge of 50 men to achieve a result impossible for one man alone, demonstrating the power of cooperation and organized effort. Carnegie's power was a composite, built upon the genius and experience of his entire organized staff. This is the great secret for the late starter. You may fear asking for help due to pride, but remember, the man who delayed until 50 cannot afford the pride of isolation. Your only weakness now is self-reliance. You do not need to go back to school for 4 years. You need to immediately form a relationship with a person who possesses the specialized knowledge you lack. Self-reliance in the wrong areas is foolishness when you lack time. You may have only limited schooling, but by forming a mastermind alliance, you instantly acquire the equivalent of 5 university degrees. This is how you bridge the weakness of limited education and accelerate your timeline. The collective brain power of the mastermind becomes the source of wisdom and counsel far superior to any single mind. This alliance provides the greatest shortcut to acquiring necessary specialized knowledge and financial contacts. Here are your specific action steps to leverage the mastermind principle. Ally yourself with a definite group of people needed for the creation and execution of your plan. Determine the exact skills, financial, technical, creative, you lack, and deliberately seek out the minds that possess them. Your selection must be based on skill and temperament, not merely friendship. Maintain perfect harmony with every member. This is absolutely essential. The mastermind cannot operate where discord or lack of trust prevails. This harmonious conduct is the foundation of enduring power. The maintenance of harmony is the leader's greatest responsibility within the mastermind. Use the alliance to acquire the specialized knowledge needed for your definite chief aim. You must use your maturity and the intensity of your burning desire to render a service that makes the alliance mutually beneficial. Reciprocity is the law that binds the mastermind together. Actively shield yourself against the 7th basic evil, susceptibility to negative influences. This requires a deliberate audit of your environment. You must cut ties with individuals who are constantly discouraging, negative, or fearful. Guard the gates of your mental fortress against the subtle intrusion of fear and doubt. The man who delays cannot afford isolation. The mastermind is the single greatest tool for multiplying the years you have left. I have walked you through the laws that allowed men like Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and Lincoln to transcend humble beginnings. We began by transforming your regret and maturity into a burning desire, a white-hot, definite chief aim. We then addressed the paralyzing cost of your age by instituting prompt decision and organized planning. We showed you how to pivot your mind with autosuggestion, banishing the ghost of it is too late and the subtle fear of old age. We taught you to use the painful lessons of your past as leverage for unbreakable persistence and the acquisition of specialized knowledge. Finally, we showed you how to multiply your time and influence through the power of the mastermind. These 11 principles are the keys to commanding your fate, regardless of your starting age. You have received the blueprint of fortune. The time for construction is now. The knowledge is useless until it is mixed with faith and applied with definite action. The accumulated wisdom of 40 years is now ready to be mixed with the power of these laws. Now, you must internalize the law that governs all fortune. The man who refuses to serve becomes the one who commands. I am not speaking of service to others, for there is honor in contribution. I speak of servitude to fear, to routine, to wages, and to mental chains. The only difference between a servant and a commander is the man's mental attitude and his willingness to make and execute his own decisions. You are still breathing. You are still hearing these words. This means it is not too late, but you must cross this final gate now. Affirm this law of command now. My time is my power, and I refuse to serve any vision but my own. What must you do? Write your definite chief aim, not tomorrow, but right now. Decide who you are, what you demand from life, and how you will serve others through your purpose. Write it out in clear, bold, concise detail, as if your life depended on it. This document is your new internal constitution. Let this written statement be the contract between your conscious mind and the universe. Carry it with you always as the unwavering order to your subconscious mind. It must be your declaration of independence from wage slavery and mediocrity. Build daily command. Do not trust motivation, trust repetition. Every morning, read your aim aloud. Every night, speak your belief in your wealth and your identity. Shape your subconscious into the commander you intend to become. Daily command is the discipline of self-mastery. The rhythm of daily command creates the cosmic habit force that delivers results. Your success hinges entirely upon the discipline of this daily ritual. You must become a machine of positive, organized habits, eliminating all traces of procrastination and indecision. Build income streams. A man who depends on one stream is still serving. Use your labor to fund your freedom, but do not stop at labor. Build systems, create value, and own the channels of your income. True freedom is diversification of risk. Your goal is to make your mind your greatest asset, producing wealth while your body rests. The ultimate freedom is achieved when your systems work for you, freeing your time for greater purpose. Your mind must be dedicated to building assets that command income rather than merely trading hours for wages. I was the son of a poor miner in the hills of Virginia. I had no inheritance, no connections, and no safety net. But I made a decision. I would no longer serve the fear of poverty. I would no longer serve ignorance. I would no longer serve the chains passed down by weak men. I studied the minds of the rich, and I found that every one of them obeyed these laws. They mastered themselves, they decided, they acted, and they became impossible to ignore. The only thing standing between you and the achievement of your definite chief aim is your own doubt and indecision. The transformation you seek is not outside of you. It is in your application of these immutable laws. You possess the exact same mental equipment that was used by the titans of industry. You must simply apply the operating manual. The opportunity for magnificent wealth is waiting for the man who is ready to receive it, and readiness is forged by definite purpose and persistence, and so can you. If you know someone else, a friend, a family member, a colleague who feels trapped, behind, or held back, share this message with them. You may be giving them the single greatest tool they need to break free. Finally, I want to know where you are starting this journey. In the comments below, tell me your age, what your definite chief aim is, and the one chain, the one habit, or negative influence you are committing to break starting today. Make it a public declaration of your intent. You are not here to serve fear. You are not here to obey mediocrity. You are here to command. You are not too late. Start now. This channel walks with you.